I need a youth. I need someone who's fresh, who's new to the scene, and who I think can do great things under the right tutelage, and maybe not so much be a giant piece of shit scumbag. And I think coming to Team ABJ can help this guy out. I'm going Ricky Pryce.
See, this is I
Pryce coming down. You ever have that jock in school? You're just like, this guy is a complete jerk. That's Ricky Pryce. Yeah, that's that guy.
Answer. Let's just say it together. Ricky Pryce. It's just hands down.
He's a nice guy. He's cool.
No, scum.
He's talented.
Absolute scum. He is on the naughty list.
He's not doing this to Andy Headers. He's not doing this to the Molsons in the locker room. He's picking on the small.
It looks like he wants to do it to you next.
And they brought him
leading the way. Moondog Pryce.
I hate
Moondog Bambino.
Ricky Pryce can't even dance. Look at him. He looks like an idiot.
I want to bury the hatchet. Look at him. You're the goat, all right? I love you, man. ABJ, not a bad guy, I guess. Blackwell! Got a shit, but yo, this dude is such an idiot. He never is gonna see that shit coming, but I'll be right back. At least I clean the toilets.
Are you meddling? You don't mess with a guy who knows how to do production. Oh, it was in the recycling bin, wasn't it? Yeah. My bad. You're dead to me. You're dead to me.
Fresh! A totally fresh Ricky Pryce.
Oh, my God.
It's a dream match!
I hate this. Alan.
You better watch Zach Xander here.
He's terrible.
Xander lying in wait.
Yeah, you're a bum. 2, 3.
Ricky Pryce is out.
He's out of here.
Scott, I hate you. And same thing with you, ABJ. April 30th, on your podcast. I'll tear you apart.
Here we go.
I hate this.
Say it with me. Sanctuary champion Ricky Pryce. I love the way that sounds.
I hate the way that sounds. Sanctuary champion? I'm not even... Oh, I hate this!
Get that off my screen. What the hell is that? Available merchandise now on ABJ Shop. Links below. Everybody, here we are. Episode 52 on a Sunday, the day of the Lord. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to need as much church as we could possibly get after today because two devils are colliding. Well, first we get into any podcast. Make sure you check out the links below for all things ABJ merchandise, as well as links to my guest. You can go and you can just click his links and just hit block or just really spam him with ABJ. He'll love that. This was put together by the powers that be at the local Northeast wrestling scene because, obviously we are a menace. We go to these promotions and we're there to do a job, but just for some reason we bump paths and it's fire and gasoline, and it's hard to. We're essentially we're a distraction. So they want us to do this podcast, and hopefully something can come of it. I don't think anything will. But before we get into any of that, we have a new sponsor. So let's get that sponsor read going. First time reading it, so if I butcher it, I'm sorry. I love you guys, but guys, it has finally happened. A whole store dedicated to vintage wrestling. Vintage shopping is where it's at. You want your old school band shirts, you want old school clothing and all that, all like vintage anything. Well, now there's a wrestling store. It can never, and they say it can never be done. Well, but you have to see it with your own eyes. Suplex Vintage Wrestling Store is cultured for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, located on 5th Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, just one block south of South Street in the heart of Queens Village. Their shop features the largest collection of vintage wrestling apparel under one roof. The selection includes classic designs featuring your favorite wrestlers from the Golden Age to the Attitude Era, the Internationals, the Indies, and much more. And if you're tired of watching premium light events at home by yourself, SVW hosts the best watch parties since your friend Kyle's 12th birthday party. And our shirts and watch parties not your thing? Well, listen, don't forget their selection of figures, replica belts, trading cards, and their t-shirts and hats and rare wrestling memorabilia. They have something for every wrestling enthusiast out there. So what are you waiting for? Check them out at suplex.svu on Instagram or at suplexsvw. I don't know why I said SVU, svw.com, and let them set aside your wrestling nostalgia needs. They are absolutely unbelievable. Their store is a blast. There's TVs blaring with old ECW. There's every video game system you can imagine. And I was back there and customers were playing No Mercy and WrestleMania 20 on the GameCube, and their Super Nintendo's going. It's an absolute blast. If you're in Philly, go check it out. Even if you're not in Philly, go to the website below and buy merchandise like this beautiful hat right here and some t-shirts that you may see ABJ wearing from time to time or when you see me in public. But thank you guys so much. We do have another ad read, but we'll get to that later on in the podcast. Without further ado, let me bring in my guest. I hate this. Ricky Pryce. Oh, come on.
You see that right there, pal?
That's how we're starting it. That's how this is starting.
And boom, bada bing. How we doing? Get the new merch. Get it. Yo, you know what? By the way, you're lucky. You are so lucky that I designed this. I designed this new shirt all by myself, actually. An original design. Specifically right here.
Yeah, you added to it. You added a little. No one's gonna buy it.
It might be your most selling shirt. I'm just gonna say that.
I don't think it will be.
By the way, sell 5 and it is.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong saying that. I want to say this real quick though. So I was going through my bag after the BYO show, and I'm going through and I'm trying to find all of my goodies in there, and I just so happened to like pull something out. There was Lego blocks used during the match. People were getting slammed on Lego blocks. They were covered in blood and spit and potatoes and whipped cream and all this other gross shit. And I pull this out of my bag. I think Ricky Pryce froze. His internet connection is as bad as he is. Oh, wait, where's he at? There. Now we see you.
I'm right here. I hear. Yeah.
So, what the hell is this nonsense?
I made that for you with all the Legos that were in the ring, and I saw your little gear bag, and I said, "Pop it in there." And I'm glad you found that.
I can't stand you.
And
I can't
you're
stand
right.
you.
My Wi-Fi is pretty bad. I'm going to blame the weather today. Okay, but regardless, sorry about that, guys.
All right, so I seen you made your little package and your video to slander and to get the audience on your side, but here's the deal. Listen, I'll take some responsibility here, but you're just as cocky and as terrible as I say you are. Like, it takes two to tango here.
I disagree with that. So let me just. This is how this all started, by the way. I was in like my 3rd month wrestling, and I'm just still trying to figure out what's going on. And I go to watch a match after the Sanctuary that you were doing commentary on, and you the entire time are ripping me apart. You don't know who I am. You know nothing about me at the time.
No, this started in a parking lot in backbreakers.
No.
You beat up a guy and then made him wrestle with his hand behind his back.
I wrestled with my hand behind my back, and I beat him.
Yeah.
And you could sit there, and he said this all the time. Damon Dante, by the way, go look it up on my YouTube channel. I beat Damon Dante with one arm tied behind my back. He likes to bring up the fact that MJ Stacks got involved, and while that is true, the fact of the matter is 99% of that match, I kicked his ass with one arm. And one day, I'm going to kick his ass with 2 arms, and it's going to be 100% Ricky the entire time. Damon Dante, hell of a competitor, hell of a fighter, hell of an excuse maker. Go on.
Yeah, but you get a little involved with your boy and you jumped the guy, and I don't know, just rubbed me the wrong way ever since. And
this started before that, and you know what? This is how unprofessional you are. You don't even remember.
I don't remember.
This started months before, and this is why that day I made sure you knew. I wanted you to watch me kick his ass. I wanted you, and I said, Blackwell, you watching this? And it's because the first time I showed up at the Sanctuary, you had nothing but terrible things to say about me, and we hadn't had a conversation yet. If you would have taken the time to get to know me, you would have nice things to say about me, like Pete DeLong does. I love Pete, and like your partner BP does. I love Brian. I hate you though because you have never taken the time to do that. You have that struck a chord in me because that was one of the first matches I had, and that's what I have to go and listen to when I'm trying to watch the match back to see how I can improve. That's what I hear. Some guy I don't even know running his mouth about me. So you're right. That struck a nerve,
Yeah.
and I made sure at that parking lot show that I gave you the business, and I've been giving you the business for months, just like you've been giving me the business. And I'm
So
tired.
would you say right here, right now that ABJ has inspired you to become a better wrestler?
ABJ has inspired me to take more bowel movements.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting, by the way. You can't talk about bowel movements on YouTube.
Well, you know what? I just did. There you go.
All right. Well, listen.
How about you ask some questions now? Stop making this about us. This isn't about us.
Hold on.
This is two people tolerating each other.
ABJ was there to see Ricky's second match ever, and he's been on board ever since the start. See? I've been trying to motivate you is what's been going on.
Speaking of which, you know who else was there at my second match ever? Gavin. And Gavin and his dad, they're the ones answering asked the questions. They were there, and that night, I met the coolest dude ever. ABJ is a great judge of character.
I listen.
Knock it off.
All right.
Knock it off.
When did you get involved, or when did this passion for you for professional wrestling start?
It all started when I was in first grade. I specifically remember a kid bringing in two Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy action figures, and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. What is that?" Oh, this is the WWF because it was the WWF at the time. You should watch it. Monday Night Raw, blah blah blah. I'm 6 years old. Still don't know. So I go home and I ask my dad what that is, and my dad, sure enough, put it on that night, and boom, that's how it works. The first match I ever saw, and this was traumatizing because I was like, what the fuck is going on here? The Undertaker was dressed like Tommy Dreamer, and he was doing the American Badass gimmick. And for some reason, Tommy Dreamer had a bucket of puke. And because I guess he had the flu or something. And the match ended with the Undertaker pouring it all over him. And I'm like 6 years old, like, this is what? Like, what just happened? And then I just fell in love from there.
So two wrestling figures of the Hardy Boys did it for you.
Yeah, like something about him was cool. Maybe it was because the two kids I was friends with at the time were big in the WWE or WWF, and I just was out of the loop. So I tried to follow it to be like them, and sure enough, I was like, okay, I get it. And
now, were you watching and studying and doing wrestling and like being obsessed with it the entire time since? Or like, or did you ever have a break as a wrestling fan or anything like?
I had my phases. My dad would take me to the Poughkeepsie Civic Center, I think it's called. In Poughkeepsie, we would see shows there. It would be like Raw house shows. We'd watch some public access shows. But then I moved when I was 9. I moved to Reno, Nevada. And when I lived in Nevada, every now and again, he would come visit me. And every time he did, there'd be a wrestling event or a Raw event or a SmackDown event. And we'd go. There was a little while when I was in middle school that I stopped watching it. When you're that middle school age, you're like too cool for everything. And that's kind of when I stopped. It wasn't until I want to say I moved back to New York when I was 14 with my dad that he just put Monday Night Raw on one night and started watching it again and picked it up from there.
Now, I just kind of picking. I don't want to dive too much into it. I don't want to, unless you're comfortable speaking about it. But you're in that short span. There's 3 location changes for a very young Ricky Pryce there.
Yeah.
What does that do for Ricky Pryce changing schools and making friends and trying to make new friends and bouncing around like that?
It's hard because I was like 9 years old, and then I moved to Reno, Nevada, and it's like I think I had 4 different schools out there in the span of like 4 years, and that was just because I was in 4th grade. Then I went to a new school for 5th and 6th, and then I had a middle school, and then went to another school, and then I moved all the way back here. So there was a couple different school changes, and like the schools out there were pretty big. Everything was like a couple thousand kids per class. It was big. It was Reno, Nevada. Like Reno's not a small city at all. It was tough, but I think the advantage that I always pull out of that is if I didn't do that when I was at such a young age, I wouldn't have the kind of knowledge I have about just life experiences that I do now. Because I've kind of been all over the place in a way. Like I've lived in Miami, Florida for a couple months after college. That didn't work. I lived all the way upstate in Oswego. That's where I went to college. Lived there for about 2 or 3 years. So I've had the opportunity at a young age to kind of live in a bunch of different areas of the country, all different parts of the country. The Northeast, the tip of Florida. I lived like 2 seconds away from the Keys. No, I'm not even kidding. And then I said Miami, but more or less the Keys. And then I lived in Reno, and I've had different experiences in 3 different cities in different parts of my life at different ages. And that's just kind of helped me grow as a person, because it's tough to go through all that, because it's a lot of resetting and starting over. And you finally just find your groove. And I've lived in New York now again for about 5 years, I want to say. 5 years since I moved back from Florida. And it wasn't long after that I found Backbreakers.
Yeah. Now, is this something that, are you in a phase now where you're like, you know, you've been seeking stability and now you want to like lock down and stay somewhere and kind of find that bubble and be there? Or are you the complete opposite when it's like, that's cool, but I'm not afraid to test my waters and go move and chase dreams and do what I have to do? Like, where do you fall on the spectrum when it comes to that?
I've spent enough time in my life going from place to place to place. I just kind of feel like that's what the rest of my life might end up being like. And I hope so, because I get bored. I get bored so quick with stuff. The only thing that's kept me where I live now, I think, is wrestling, because I live right in the middle of a lot of good areas where I can go to. Either everything's an hour and a half away or less, and that's not bad. The farthest I've been driving is like maybe 2 hours, but a lot of the shows I like do down in New Jersey, maybe 2 hours away at the most. The farthest I really drive out into Pennsylvania is going down to the Sanctuary, unless I'm doing something down, kind of near Philadelphia. I don't mind traveling. That's what I've done my entire life. I was by myself as a teenager, navigating the airports to get from gate to gate, because it's just what I had to do. It was my situation. And I made the most out of it. And I feel like that's just, here we go again. I feel like that's just probably where I'm better off in life. That's what's I'm going to end up doing more.
Yeah. I will say this, like, for how much disdain I have and how much I will say this, and you even see it in your footage. I do see a lot of, I don't, his camera froze. I don't know. Hope we didn't lose him. Oh, I hear him. I still hear you. Camera's froze, but I hear you. Can you hear me? How awesome is it that I was about to put him over and he didn't hear it? That's amazing. Well, I'll tell you, the audience. I said a lot of things. I do a lot of things where I say, like, Ricky, I don't like the guy, but I will say this. I think he's extremely talented. I think he has a ton of potential. And he is back now to hear the compliment. But I will say this. I was telling you that I may talk a lot of crap, but I do say it in other videos and some of your highlight packages. I think you are very talented, and I think you do have a ton of potential. And I think what is going to set you apart is the fact that you're not afraid to stay in your 25-mile bubble. You are willing to travel. You are willing to take the hikes. You're willing to, if someone's going to give you an opportunity to show, you're going to show up and you're going to show out. One of the things recently, pull the curtain back maybe a hair here, is at the Sanctuary. The biggest crowd Sanctuary's probably had in the past 10 years. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a good amount of people there.
About 50 to 60 people. And those 50 to 60 people, maybe 10 of them are regulars, or 5 of them are regulars who they're all the time, and they know the characters and they know what to expect and how to play it. And I walked out there, and they don't know me from a hole in the wall, and I'm personable, and I'm a little bit of a snake in the grass, I guess you could say. And I took a microphone, and I got a microphone, and I told them, thank you for coming, and make sure you really buy into what we're doing here, and cheer the people you like and boo the people you don't like. And I said, and the guy you should boo is Ricky Pryce. And then you were wrestling someone who, let's throw wrestling terms out there. You were working face, and this person was working heel. But you walked out to a crowd who hated you.
Booed me. They didn't even
booed.
Yeah. And to be fair, like, a lot of those people who were are the regulars were there a lot last year when I was going out there as a heel. And I'm trying to be more of a face this year at the Sanctuary, and because I'm a face everywhere I go. I love working heel, but like, the reality is everywhere I go, everyone's like, you're a baby face, be a baby face. So I try to be the best baby face I can. And yeah, that whole place was booing me when I walked out there. And I'm telling them, like, I'm not a bad guy. Like, give me a chance. And they gave me a chance. And by the end of that match, that entire place, boom, loved me.
You're very young in your career. And the guy you were wrestling that night he's even younger in his career. And he's another one that I think has a lot of potential.
Yes.
He has a good look. He has good size. I think he's going to be very, very impressive. He's very impressive at a young age. And you kind of played ring general, and you kind of said, hey, man, and you weren't making it about yourself, but you knew that there had to be a story being told here, and the crowd was misinformed on the story that was being told. So you're saying, hey, man, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, because the crowd needs to be, their brains need to be rewired. And I think you had about 8 minutes to do that.
8 minutes.
If
and,
that,
I worked with Fletcher Young there, and he's only 6-7 matches in.
yeah.
And we had 5 minutes to push the match together. And I think my 6 or 7 match, and this is like when you first get started out, you like having a little more time to figure it out. But he had 5 minutes, and I felt bad that he was not going to have a lot of time in the Rumble. So I'm like, you and me, we're working a match. We're getting a chance. Let's go out there. This.
And I threw a monkey dick, I literally ruined I essentially threw a monkey dick in the whole vibe of the heel versus babyface, and
Not up in
as a talented worker, you went out and in that short amount of time rewired their brain. Pretty much had the guy on commentary if there's the piece of crap without even telling them, because you won them over because Fletcher did good heel work, you played good babyface work, and you rewired the crowd. And I was very impressed. It's
the little things. I've heard that a lot. It's the little things.
It really is.
And that's what I told Fletcher before the match, and he listened. So I'm proud of that guy.
Yeah,
you're right.
I think
he's got a lot of talent for being so young and only having a handful of matches in. Like he could do this pretty well.
And I wouldn't have done that in any other scenario, but a non-canon story of the Sanctuary, where essentially it's a place where you can go and get your chops in, and I wouldn't go rogue like that and try to ruin the dynamic of a show if I felt the person couldn't do it. And you went out and you knocked it out of the park.
Suck it.
You did it. All right. So you kind of alluded there for a second, then you found backbreakers. So being from upstate, like the New York area, not upstate really, but the New York area.
Not upstate.
Yeah.
Everyone says it's upstate, but it's not.
Yeah. The New York area. How do you find Backbreakers Entertainment? How do you stumble across it all the way down in like the really high Northeast version of PA?
Dude, I was in college. I just looked for wrestling schools near me over and over and over, because I just wanted to try it so bad when I was done. I was coming up close to it. Hell yeah, my man right there. Yeah, of course. But I just wanted to find a school. I just wanted to try it. And I had mentioned it to a couple friends. I'm like, what would you think if I did this? And no one really gave me kind of a positive reinforcement. So I was like, okay, I don't know. Then I moved back from Florida, and I'm working at a gym, and I meet Travis Dorian, and I found out he was a pro wrestler, and I'm like, wait a minute, because I'm not really, at the time, I have really no clue about independent wrestling. I know it exists, but I've never paid attention. I was just mainstream WWE.
Where do you meet him at?
I met him at Planet Fitness.
Wow.
I met him at a Planet Fitness up where I live. I met him through a coworker, and I found out he was a pro wrestler, and I thought that was the coolest thing. And I asked him, like, where did you go to do that? I'm just curious. And he told me about Backbreakers. That was like April of that year. It was 2019. I told Stax about it, because Stax and I also had talked about trying this for years. Because I met him on the bus when we were in high school. When I first moved back, I met him on the bus probably that first week of school. And our friendship didn't grow until we were playing sports, and we're like, wait a second, you like wrestling? I like wrestling. Okay, like let's hang out. So we watched the Royal Rumble together, and then we watched WrestleMania together, and then the network came out, and then we could watch them all together. And then we both went away to college. And then we'd come home, and we'd go to the bar, and we'd cut promos on people, and then no one knew what to do. And we were like, wait a second, we got some chemistry here. This is funny. And so we would joke about it a lot. And then I would visit him at college, because I'd graduated first, just, weekend for the boys. And we'd do the same thing there. We'd cut promos on people at the college bars, and we'd beat up our friends, and we just do all this wrestling stuff. And people were like so entertained by us doing this. And we got to a point where we'd talk about going and being a tag team. That's what we wanted to do. So I find out about the school. He's home for like spring break or whatever. I'm driving him home from at the bar one night, because I was the, and he goes, So when are we going to go be tag team champions? And I'm like, well, I found out about a place. Like, there's a place about an hour away. Like, how about, you finish school, because he had about a month left. Finish school. Let's get ourselves into shape over the summer. September, we'll go give this thing a shot. August rolls around. I'm sitting at my job watching Monday Night Raw because it was just I had access to doing so, and I get this advertisement for backbreakers on my Facebook because I had followed the pages just to stay in the loop. And I was desperate. I wanted something new in my life. I was bored, and I emailed Justin Glory immediately, and I got an immediate answer back. And I said, September 1st, we need to be doing this. If we're not doing this by September 1st, we're never going to do it. I said that in April. We were sitting in Backbreakers, August 31st, getting interviewed, going through the whole process to sign up. And that day I watched a class and I was like, oh, we're doing this. Like, I can't wait. This is what we need to do. And sure enough, here we are a couple years later.
Who was in that class?
My first day, it was me, Stax, Damon Dante was there. We all started the same day. He had 2 other friends with him. And then I think just like shortly after that, Valos, the Freak, he joined us. Maybe 6-7 months down the road, the Dude and Donnie Bambino hop on board and the pandemic happens. So we were about 7 months into debuting. Nathaniel Cunningham was also there, but he was there for a couple more months prior to that. And there were some other kids there, but this wasn't something that worked out for them. So then 6-7 months later, the pandemic starts and Backbreakers closes for like 12-13 months. So we picked up, started the training September 2019, ends March 2020, picks back up April 2021. We trained the rest of the year, did a couple more shows for Backbreakers, and then January 2022 came around, and that's when we had our debut.
Yeah, that's nuts. Now, you said you and Stax both were into sports. What did you play?
I played baseball and football, and he played football and track.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, what position were you in in your sports?
In baseball, I played a little bit of outfield and catcher. I didn't play a lot. And then in football, I was a wide receiver and a defensive back. And I played a little more in football than I did with baseball. The reality is I was a bum-ass kid that did not take anything too serious. I was busy chasing girls, and I was busy causing trouble. That's just who I was at the time. I was a dumb 17-year-old, 16-year-old kid that just didn't have a clue about work ethic. So years later, when I start doing this wrestling thing, I reminisce on that, and I don't want to be that person ever again. Like, I want to – God damn it.
You're good. I hear you. Ricky Pryce having technical difficulties. All right, we might have lost Ricky. I'll bounce him out till he gets fixed there. I will say this: do not let that character fool you. Ricky Pryce is someone who plays the jock, the arrogant, the super athletic. He can get it done no matter what thing. But the kid he has a good head and shoulders. He works really hard. He has an understanding for this business and what he has to do to thrive in this business and be successful. And that's why I think he's going to do very well here. But let's talk about Elevation 1470. They are reinventing the style, bringing traditional and nostalgic apparel to Frackville and the surrounding areas of School County, Pennsylvania. They pride themselves on Hopetown heritage and community. Elevation 1470 is where the trail begins. You can find them at www.elevation1470.com for all the latest and traditional nostalgic styles in School County, Pennsylvania. That's what I'm rocking right here. Alexa, stop. That had to happen. All right, so that's the other sponsor. Thank you guys. If you want to be a sponsor or get an ad read read in the podcast, please hit me up. Links in the link tree. You can be a guest, or you can also become a sponsor of the podcast. Ricky is back, so let's bring him back in.
Yeah, sorry about this.
That's all right.
It's matter. Yeah, I'm here. You got matter.
Yep, I hear you.
Just terrible connection today.
It happens.
Where did I leave off at?
About being kind of a young and dumb kid and chasing girls and didn't have really any direction or discipline.
Yeah, so I moved back from Nevada, and the reality is I was getting in trouble out there. So I spent all high school just kind of, screwing around, getting into trouble. So when I got into wrestling, I really wanted to take this more serious than anything I've ever taken in my life, and that's why I put the effort in that I do.
Yeah.
This is a chance for me to kind of to reconvene and be better and not be that kid anymore that missed out on some opportunities. Now it's business.
So where does the TOP, the character, the Ricky Pryce character, where do you pull from, and where did it derive from? Just this, obviously the sports and the athletic background plays a part of it, but how did it click? How did you know that that's the route you were going?
It's just who I am. It's really just who I am, man. I'm a huge fan of sports figures that get people talking. And two sports figures that do that are Johnny Manziel, and this is going to be one people debate, Jake Paul. And I watched what Johnny Manziel did coming up through college and the influence he had on just like the sports world at such a young age and had all this spotlight. I'm like, wow, there's something about that guy that people either really fucking like or hate. No one doesn't have any feelings about him. They either like him or they hate him. And it's the same thing with Jake Paul. No one takes him seriously in the boxing ring, and I understand that because he's not a real boxer. But the fact of the matter is that dude puts on entertaining stuff. He makes you talk about him. They both did. And that's kind of where the character of Ricky Pryce comes. I'm pulling from those two. Like,
It's funny that
the
you
obnoxious
compare the
Pryce
two,
one
right?
I check out.
Yeah, so like your Manziel
Right.
reference is Manziel is extremely talented, gifted, athletic, and gets by on most of his life on his athleticism, but lacked discipline, and that's where he fell short. Where Jake Paul is the same thing, lacked discipline, then got discipline, and then took himself to a whole nother level. So your two comparisons is funny because I was kind of saying when you were gone is you kind of you are the character, but you're not the character because you're kind of in the in between of the two people you just said. You play a Johnny Manziel when you're heel, but you're also like very determined. You're very motivated. You're like behind the scenes. You're
I want to win, dog.
Yeah, I mean, like you
wanna
don't
win.
drink. You're not there at a show to party. You're not there to do like when you show up at a show. You're there to get your job, do your thing, put on your match, put on a good match, win the crowd over, and you take this very, very seriously. Even though your character of Ricky Pryce is not so much doing that.
It's all a character, baby. That's the music. That's the magic, baby. It's behind the character. You just have to trust yourself and be yourself, and it all just comes out. So yeah, that's kind of where the character comes from. And the name Pryce, man, it was just when me and Stax were putting together what we wanted to do. Pryce, we were going to be like spoiled money guys, and you know that's just too fucking easy. And we started doing that, and that's where Pryce, you know, money comes in, and stacks of cash comes in. MJ is just his first two initials, so his MJ Stacks, those are his initials. He wanted to call himself something else, and I was like, MJ Stacks. I just said it one day. I'm like, that's fucking tough. Like, that's a big, tough dude. Like, and Ricky is just, my middle name is Richard. My dad's Rich. My grandmother,
I just thought because you were a dick
before she passed.
You get it?
Yeah, here you go. My grandmother, before she passed, she had dementia, and she would call me Ricky because she thought I was my dad because she would call him Ricky his entire life. So I got used to just hearing Ricky, and it's just Ricky Pryce just sounded right when I.
Your dad's also a huge ABJ fan. I got to talk to him on a show. Huge supporter of the podcast. Loves it.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least there's somebody in that household.
I'll be honest. You have a. Yeah. Well, here you go. I'm a big fan of your podcast and what you do because you give young guys like me and Donnie Bambino and Nathaniel Cunningham, and I see you got the dude coming up and Damon. These are just my high ground guys. Like, you give so many different people a platform to come on here and talk about who they really are, because I think that's the thing that gets mixed up a lot in what we do in wrestling is like, we're real people at the end of the day, and we have real lives and we have real things going on that you'll never know about because we don't bring that to wrestling shows, or we try not to, at least. We have these real lives out there, and you give people the chance to show everyone that, and like be like, hey, I'm a normal person too. And I think that's dope. So you're doing a good job doing that. You still
I appreciate that. I think where that comes from. I think where that comes from is because I show up at shows and I don't have that content creator mindset. I come in and I try to be one of the boys. I try to earn pay my dues essentially without paying my dues the same way as everybody else in the business. And I feel like talent are more comfortable to let that barrier down and not do a character interview, because most podcasts is like, come on the podcast, we're going to talk about a match. But I always think of it like, all right, I'll listen to a podcast and it's someone on a podcast talking about a match that maybe 13 people are going to see online, or the people who were there that day seen it. But realistically, that podcast doesn't hold up. If you come to my podcast, you're going to learn about the person, the real life person, the character, what drives them. And I think like, I feel like when people get to know the real person, that's what's going to make them bigger fans of that person. And that's what's going to drive them to support them more and stuff like that. Like I'm a Howard Stern guy. I'm like, one of the first interviews I heard Howard, when he really started doing his interviews, he had Miley Cyrus on. And I just perceived Miley Cyrus as the party girl, drunk girl. Who cares? She's a waste. Everything was handed to her from her dad. And then I had a chance to listen to an interview with her on Howard, and I was like, yo, she's dope. Like, I like her personality, and I became a fan of her and her music because she let her inhibitions down in an interview. And I was like, if I can recreate that, that's essentially what I'm shooting for.
You give us the opportunity to show everyone we're normal and that we have real lives. And I think that's what's so important. So thank you for everything you do, pal. You suck.
No problem. Yeah, hate you. Still hate you. Anyway, yeah, we can't listen.
I hate my connection. My Wi-Fi connection. I hate my Wi-Fi connection way more than I hate you, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey,
who's somebody on the scene that we can
one.
probably both agree on that we just can't stand? Probably Roxas, right? What the hell is a Roxas?
It's a vampire.
Is that what he is? He's a vampire?
That's all I want to say about the topic. That's all I want to say about the topic. I don't do spooky. Don't want to talk about vampires. These vampires.
Yeah, we don't want them biting us or anything. That'd be weird. All right, so we got your training in. How long in the training before your first match, and what was you going through? What was going through your head your first match out?
I want to say it ended up being around like 14 months combined because of that year that we didn't have training because of the pandemic. So it was 7 months on, 7 months when we came back. We had our first match at the end of January at Backbreakers Winter Warfare 3. We sold the bitch out. I think Stax and I sold like 170 tickets combined like before the show even happened. And it was to the point where my dad rented a bus and he drove like 40, 50 people down that night from Port Jervis, where we live. And they all got tanked on the bus. They got tanked there. And by the time we went on and had that match that night, everyone was loaded. All 170, 200 people from Port Jervis have showed up. And dude, like, talk about a first debut match. Like, I'll never forget the sound. I'm getting goosebumps talking about. I'll never forget the sound that I heard when I walked out to the curtain for the first time. And I looked from left to right, and every single person had their phone like this, or they were screaming their freaking heads off. And I was like, this is it.
That's your high.
This is fucking it. And I'll never experience. I mean, I hope I get to experience a feeling like that again, but you only debut once, and that's cliche to say, but holy shit. Like, again, man, what a debut. It was so loud in there the entire time. It was, it was so special. And the fact that I got to go in there with Stax and we got to have that moment together and that end together, and just that entire 20 minutes from bell to bell, or from entrance to entrance, and it was special. And not a lot of people get to have their first match like that. So that's why I think I'm a little spoiled and lucky that I have the foundation of people who support me that I do.
Yeah. Stax is definitely on my list of somebody I want to have on the podcast. And I do have a question, but I don't think it's fair to ask it
to
you.
He's tough, dude. He's tough to get.
It's a question for him. But like, I feel like every tag team, right? A tag team comes out and I called the Marty.
Go ahead and ask the question. I'm glad you're going to ask this.
Yeah, I feel like people, every single time you see a tag team, you always see people think of the Marty and Sean. Like, they're both talented, but one is the Sean and one's the Marty. And I get why it happens, but I think it's a shitty thing to do to tag teams, because then people complain that there's no legitimate tag teams, and we're sick of people getting forced into tag teams. I've
been forced into a couple tag teams that work, but like, they're not Stax. And Stax is, you watch me and Stax tag, we have that chemistry.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. Stax is a big boy, but he's athletic and he's good. I've seen you solo, and I think that's where people attach because they see probably you more solo than they do tag team because you can be versatile to do both. But man, I have the footage of the match, but I have to record commentary for it because I couldn't get it to sync properly. And me and BP are going to do that in post production very, very soon. But I have I feel like as you guys, I watched you guys tag a few times. I watched you tag against two really good tag teams. One very early where you guys went up against the Exeter guys. And that was very early in your career. And then most recently, you guys tagged against
Their second match.
Yeah, and you guys tagged against Diamond City War Machines. And you gotten, I mean, significantly better since that match. But Stacks, I feel like if you watch that match, are people who were in attendance that night, and some of the boys in the back, and people who were there that night who watched, who were Team Ricky, but maybe Stacks was like they didn't know where they lied on Stacks. Stacks earned his keep that night, and I think a lot of boys in the back realize that like Stacks is a big time dude here, and he could be one of the best big men in the Northeast PA wrestling scene.
He's one of the best big men in the Hudson Valley, and the thing is a lot of people that we do shows with down here in PA, they don't see him work singles matches. I see him work singles matches every time we do shows for ECPW because we don't work as a tag team at ECPW. We're doing our own thing up there. It's progressive. Sometimes we fight each other, and that's progressive as a tag team because we're going to take any problems we have with each other out during that fight. We just had a match against each other last week, and it's good for the boys. It gets the boys to kind of we let that tension the teams might have out right then and there. But he gets to work on his own up there a lot, and he's so special. And I get goosebumps watching him. And every time he does anything, I got the biggest smile on my face because the reality is, and we were just talking about it before, is he doesn't have. We have lives outside of wrestling, and he's very focused on starting a life and doing a life outside of wrestling first. Like, he wants to be a teacher, he wants to be a coach, and he gets to do that. And I think it's awesome because when he talks about it, when we're driving places, he's so excited about it. And he's working on that. He works on that. I have all the time in the world to dedicate to wrestling right now. And that's what's different about the two of us is I have more time where he doesn't because he's doing so many other things to further his life. Not MJ Stacks, but Matt. Like he's taking care of that. And he's starting to get
he's
really
a good kid. He's someone you want around too. He's just very personable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
and he's starting to get very comfortable, especially on his own. You love to see it, man. He's made a lot of progress.
Now, you guys
it's
have
crazy for me to say that because like we've debuted the same night.
Yeah, this is a delay of people, so we're trying not to step on each other, but yeah. So you guys come into Backbreakers and you kind of have your little commodity and your bond, right? And you guys have it going on, and then you talked about all those names that came in that are still in the business, and I always refer, and I've referred it numerous times in this podcast. There's the Sanctuary kids and there's the Backbreaker kids, and you guys, I truly feel you are the next wave of Northeast PA wrestling talent, and how you guys keep each other motivated and keep each other bonded, I think is really, really cool. How did you guys do? Is that something that happened during the pandemic, or did you guys disappear for the pandemic and not talk to each other and then pick it back up after? Like, when did that click? And when did like?
Let me reset myself here. Go ahead and plug something because I can't hear.
Okay.
Let me reset myself.
All right, so he can step away for 1 second, reset. I don't have any sponsors, but we'll just talk a little bit here. Thank you guys so much. George in the chat now. Mofolk and Ricky Pryce. That's that George. Me and George now have like a little rivalry going, but it was a one-time thing. I think it was a lot of fun. But I do have some footage coming up very soon for my new vlog. It's gonna debut on Wednesday. So Wednesday's a new vlog. I don't really promote the vlog, but I think this one's really fun that you should check out. Monday, Rembrandt will be back on the podcast. We tried to book that. Things fell apart. So make sure you come hang out on Monday. Tuesday will be the Dude. So make sure you come to the Dude. We're going to talk about him in a couple seconds here with Ricky Pryce. So make sure you tune into the ABJ podcast and check out some great stuff that's coming up. Also, right now I'm out of work. I don't have work. I don't have a car. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to either pay to fix my car or buy a new one. Ricky Pryce joined in twice in my screen. There's 2 Ricky Pryces. I know which one because the one's moving. But yeah. So all this great stuff is super helpful. While I'm sitting at home and I'm trying to collect myself and get myself on board and wait for these at-home jobs maybe to come in or whatever it may be. T-shirts are available. My dudes in the Discord have been making me crazy logos, and there's tons of good merchandise that's coming out. So if you guys can grab a t-shirt or a sticker or whatever it may be, it helps out so much. It helps me I'm essentially paying money to people to drive me to shows so I can get there. But Ricky just bounced out of the thing real quick. So I will have him in a second, but make sure you please support my sponsors because they help out a lot as well. We do have Patreon, which is like a monthly donation. If you're listening to the audio side of this, you could do it straight through Spotify as well. There is a support this podcast thing. It's like a monthly thing that comes out of your bank or your card. It's like a $2 thing. You could do $2, $5. It's like buying ABJ a beer every month, and it helps grow this podcast and helps me all that small stuff helps. But a lot of great stuff. This month of May coming up, I'm telling you right now, is going to be insane. There's going to be like 18 interviews, and there's some pretty fucking cool heavy hitters coming to the podcast this month that I think you guys are going to definitely really enjoy. I think Ricky's back. We'll bring him in here, and yeah.
I hate my Wi-Fi way more than I hate you.
Gears to the new T-shirt idea. ABJ hates everyone. Oh, there it is. That could be one.
Everyone hates ABJ.
Everyone hates ABJ. Squid Sterling says the dude. Squid Sterling, I'll give you a little teaser. One of those interviews that you're going to hear this month is Squid Sterling. He is chalked up for the month of May, and we're going to hear a little bit from Squid. But so you were saying before, when did this crew of your stable of people from the Backbreaker School, when did that click happen? When did you guys realize that you have a bond here? When did you realize that was a thing and you guys kind of motivate each other and keep each other pushing and helping each other get better?
Almost immediately, because the first person that we met was Nathaniel Cunningham. And we've just been boys with him since day one. Like, you just meet people and you just click, and we have always clicked with him. Damon Dante, at the beginning, he wasn't there a lot. He would come in and out. So it took him a little while to really find himself and to establish himself kind of just back at Backbreakers. But in the meantime, everyone, like, all the pieces get added one by one. You know, Donnie and the dude, we clicked with them. Joey knew people already, or Donnie knew people already. So he was already comfortable being around everybody. The dude was always very shy and very quiet. And then one day they were like, all right, act like you're a heel. And he did this thing, or he's just walking around going, nerds, nerd, dude. And it was like, he came right out of his shell that day. And that's like where the dude just flourished. Like, he came out of his shell that day and we couldn't believe we were watching. Like, this guy who hasn't said a word, like, is the funniest guy here. Like,
he's gonna have the longest career in this business as long as he doesn't keep headbutting turnbuckles, because he is in a situation as a professional wrestler, and I don't even know he's aware of this, and I can't wait to talk about him. He doesn't have to do dick in a wrestling match.
I tell him that. You don't have to do much.
He literally has to learn 3 moves, and everything else is crowd work and crowd control, and he's gonna make a living in this business and not going to have to do a goddamn thing.
And bless his soul. Good for him.
Yeah, his body is going to feel amazing in 30 years. Man. He's like, if he picks moves smart and he finds a way to make those moves, like another guy who does that and he's in amazing shape and he kills it, Stan Styles. Stan Styles is going to wrestle. Man. He's going to wrestle till he's 80 because, you know what I mean? Like, he's not doing 450s. He's not getting put through tables. He's not doing crazy stuff, but he's the most entertaining match every single time he's out there.
You're not wrong. He's got it figured out. He's got the character figured out, and the dude will over time. Look what we just did last Sunday at the Sanctuary. He eliminated me by getting me fucking Stone Dog gummies, and then like, come on, man.
And I want to ask you a question on that. When Trotsky rolled in the ring, did you think you're in trouble?
I had no idea.
Because the dude said he shit his pants. Yeah, he said yeah. Because you guys didn't tell anyone you're doing that spot, and then you start doing it, and Trotsky just comes running into the ring, and you guys both had you shit your pants faces on.
Yeah, because we didn't know. Like, we're trying to do the bit, and the dude's trying to guide me to the ropes, put me over, and the next thing you know, Trotsky's right here, and I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck? Because Trotsky will do that. He'll just do that to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I've had matches where he's screaming up from the top, going, "I'll take a pen. I'll come get a pen." Like he's unpredictable. So I didn't know the thing, and then it went the way it went, and it was funny. But that's maybe like for me, like I will think of an idea for the dude at like midnight, and I'm sure other people do this too. And I send it to him like, dude, you got to try this one time, and then he'll do it, and it works, and then he keeps it.
Here's my, and I hope guys like Eric and stuff, and some of the veterans from the area are in the chat still. But like, I feel you're that new version, and it's not saying that you're going to replace these people, but I think I want you to work this guy or this group of people, because I think there would be great chemistry. But you and AJ Evers, like you have that chemistry of like you're on your way to be an AJ Evers, because he's good in the ring, he knows how to wrestle, he knows how to crowd control, but he's creative and he comes up with these fun things and keeps himself relevant. And when he's out there, he knows how to, and he's genuinely a funny dude. Like backstage, he's insanely funny. Trajan Horn, I hope to God he comes back, and I need a Trajan Ricky Pryce match. You know what I mean?
When I was a student,
Tommy Vex,
when I was just like a student trainee, like Trajan and AJ were tagging over at Backbreakers. It was like the Flatmates, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I would watch them, and I'm like, I like these guys. Like, I'm okay. And those are like the kind of guys I watch. I'm like, I'm figuring it out, and like I see what they're doing. I'm like, okay. And I think that night they wrestled the stepdads, and the stepdads got the thermometer or the thermostat and the paper. And I'm like, I'm watching, and I'm like, huh, okay. Pew, light bulb. Another person, you're gonna love this, and I hope Gavin takes this with a grain of salt. I love watching Tommy and Mary, because again, like they don't have to do much. It's about what they're doing and the antics and the silly little stuff. Like, my guys have been feuding with a 7-year-old for the better part of the last year, and it's
amazing.
Every time I'm like this behind the curtain, like, what are they gonna do now? What are they gonna do now? And then the last show at Smash, they're doing the scramble, and it's all over the place. And you go back and watch that, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, and I think a lot of where I get that mentality from too was like when I was in college, I didn't have cable. So I spent a lot of time watching GTS. I had YouTube. That's all. I would watch SmackDown and Raw highlights on YouTube. And then GTS would pop up in the favorites or the suggested. So I'd watch it, and then I got hooked. And then I'm watching this almost every day it comes out, because I'm like, this is entertaining as hell.
How crazy it'd be if Grimm was on ABJ Podcast.
I know he's going to be, isn't he? I saw you announce it. Yes, that's awesome. And like to me, like I met him at the Smash show, and I told him, I was like, without your show, I don't think I do this, because your show made wrestling entertaining for me again, because the show isn't about the wrestling, it's about the people on the show. Mm-hmm. And you could tell, if you really pay attention, you could tell what's going on there. And like, I think it's dope. And watching a lot of that, and that's where the mind of Ricky Pryce comes from in the wrestling ring. Like, yeah, I'll do the moves, I'll do everything, but some of the silly shit I do, it's like from watching guys like AJ and Trajan and Tommy, and watching like GTS for the time I did. Like,
yeah. And I mean, you can turn it on too. I mean, you can go watch you in a 3-way scramble with you, Stacks, and Riley versus the LCC, and
we played Flip Cup in the ring.
Yeah,
like, come on.
Or you can watch you and MIT just have a burner of a match. You know what I mean? Like where. You know what I mean? Like where you showed that you could be an indie darling, like the top, and, like, you know what I mean? Like you have the versatility.
That was a very important match for me, the MIT match, because, by the way, I just wanted to say, for the record, I don't even hate MIT. He hates me. And for whatever reason why, I think it's because, and he's so petty. Like I was never supposed to be in Smash Master Wrestling. I want that to go on the record. I was a substitute for someone who got hurt the week prior.
You were ring crew.
I was going to be a ring crew. That's what my intention was that day. I wasn't supposed to be on the roster. I got the spot. And I think what pisses MIT off is he thinks he had the match won, and I ruined it for him. Because for months, he's wrestling other people. For months, he's talking about that specifically. So I must have got under his skin somehow. And like I like MIT. Like, I like picking on him. I like doing the silly shit. I like having Gavin, lure him into the bathroom so I can throw a clown wig on him. Like, that's fun, man. Like, and I'm just having fun with the guy, and he's getting pissed off, taking it personal. He hates it. I see your face. So you got something. What's that? Ricky Pryce.
He wants Ricky's in the Kansas City area. Ethan Pryce names so good, similar, putting them together. Be gold. No, I'm laughing because it's like almost like mirror parallel. Like I'm just having fun, and you're taking it so seriously, and you're getting so upset.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah. But like on my team, man, like I don't even hate him, but we go back and forth for months because he's pissed off about that one moment in the scramble, dude. Anyone's gonna win that match. Like if anything, he should be happy that match happened because I got embarrassed more than anybody. I had Vicious Vicky spitting a whole entire cup of vodka in my face, and I got spiked in the mat and lost. I lost the match. He didn't. He just didn't win. And for months, he didn't shut up about it. So then we get the opportunity to have a one-on-one match. And I think that was a very important match for me because I didn't really have a one-on-one match I had one one-on-one match, but it wasn't like on the main show at Smashmaster. And that was my first singles match. And I think I was able to show a lot of people that day, like, I'm more than just the silly bullshit in between. Like, I can fucking have a match if I really need to have a match. And
you're tough as shit too.
Motherfucker,
you took a boot to the face, man. A hard boot to the face. You got your nose split all over your face. You know what I mean? Like, and it was crazy. But
guess what?
You could have easily stopped. You could easily stop. You could have called it.
This is my mentality. I get kicked in the face. I touch my face. My nose is still good. My teeth are here. I can tell what's going on. There's blood all over my hands, but it is what it is. Let's keep going. And I think another thing that really pisses MIT off is he kicked me that hard in the face, and I got in the ring and I started goofing off. I was biting his hands. I was laughing. I was having a good time still because, motherfucker, I'm here to do this. I'm here to beat people up, and I'm here to get beat up because that's a part of what we do. And I don't give a shit. If I get kicked in the face, man, it's part of the game. It is what it is. Yeah. And the first thing I said when I walked through the curtain was everyone was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Like, you got blood
Scott in the chat, by the way."
Fuck Scott. Everyone's like, "Are you good?" And my only thing I cared about was, does it look cool at least? And everyone's like, "Yeah, I guess." And I'm like, "All right, I'm good, man. Like, my nose is fine. Like, blood's blood. And, like, it happens." And carried on.
Now you do have a match coming up here at Smashmaster Wrestling. Well, we will plug this and get this out there so people can come hang out and watch. You are on the end of a huge losing streak. You have yet to win a match at Smashmaster Wrestling, and likewise, your opponent has yet to win a match at Smashmaster Wrestling. You and Riley Crow, Saturday, May 6th, through Civic Center in 500 Sanderson Street through Pennsylvania. Doors at 5. Show starts at 6. All seats $20. Kids under 12 are free. Use code ABJ, and you get a little discount off your ticket. Our price one. Either one, you get the same discount. You might get more of a discount for mine because I'm cooler. But definitely come see this matchup. Let's talk about this matchup. What's going through your head here? How you game planning? How do you plan on taking out the strange bird?
I'm gonna kick her dick off.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna kick her in the head. I'm gonna kick her in the chest. I'm gonna kick her in the arms. I'm gonna kick her all over.
But she's known for her kicks, so like.
And that's what I got. But so am I, dog. Like, you see me out there.
See how big her. He has some really strong legs.
I just did leg day today, pal. I'm getting ready. All right. She does. Good for her. I'm sure she'll kick me. But listen, I got kicked square in the fucking face and got up and started laughing at my opponent. Kick me. Go ahead. Listen, I'm desperate. I need to get a win. I don't know what's in the water at the Troop Civic Center. I don't know. And he almost got me banned off TikTok. Dog, I don't even know what your TikTok is. You got yourself banned.
He commented on TikTok and called you a jerk, and it was reported for hate speech, and he got a 7-day ban.
That's your own fault, Scott.
He's convinced that you reported him. He said you're a snitch.
I don't even know his TikTok, so that's blasphemy. But anyways, I'm actually really looking forward to this match, Riley Crow, because this is a match that I need. I don't know what's in the water at the Troop Civic Center. I can't win there for whatever reason. I have no problem other than any other place, but for some reason, Smashmaster's just not been my vibe, and I'm starting to kind of.
Here's a question for you: is this your first? And now, Smashmaster Wrestling and Riley doesn't. She would feel the same exact way, and I do as well. Is this your first one-on-one intergender match you've had?
Yes.
Yeah,
it is. But I'm not going to treat it that way.
And that's I knew you wouldn't, but I'm just saying this is a first for you.
Yeah, when the bell rings, we're two competitors. I don't care who you are, what you are, what's going on. We're the goal is to win that match. And whatever happens. Like, it's a part of what we do. Man, you don't sign up for this to not fight people. You sign up for this to fight people. It is what it is, man. It's business is business. And I know she's bringing the same mentality. She's tough as hell, dog. She's a badass.
She's Samoan trained.
And I'm not taking that lightly. Did you see me go when I was training in the woods?
I seen you training in the woods.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm ready to go, dog. And it's just the stuff I'm showing you. There's other stuff happening that I'm not showing you.
Let me talk about that real quick. When it comes to the independent wrestling scene, I don't think there's anyone doing it like you, man. When it comes to the online promos and putting a match and making people excited for a match. I mean, this podcast alone, I mean, we're doing our thing, but you put it out there. Like, I truly feel if a wrestling promotion hires you or brings you to their door, you're going to bring a value, whether it's either an online presence or whatever it may be, because you do the extra work on the side. You don't cut a promo in the front seat of your car saying, I'm a tough guy and I'm going to beat you up, and this is the reasons why I think I'm going to win. You do music videos, you do Elmer Fudd bits in the woods. Like does that also attribute to like your Grimm's Toy Show and then stuff like that to of why you do those extra steps?
A little bit. I grew up making YouTube videos and Vines and TikToks, and entertaining people is what I want to do. Like, the wrestling is my way of doing it right now. And I love it. I love thinking of a stupid, silly video to post online to make people laugh, because that's what stands out. And like, that's what, like, this is my mentality, right? People are mostly always on their phones. Always. A lot of people will try to take pride in not posting, being like, oh, I'm too cool to post, but they're on their phones anyways. People are on their phones. So if you're putting it in front of them and you're showing them, your personality or the different things you can do or what you bring to the table, they're going to see it and they're going to take notice. And I think that's very important. I want to sell those matches. I want people to get hyped up. I want like, that's how you do it. And I was talking about how Jake Paul's an influence on what I do. It's because that's what he does before every boxing match. It's what Conor McGregor does before every fight in the octagon. It's what Floyd Mayweather does. Like, this is what the big stars in like fighting do. In boxing, in MMA, they sell the fight, whether they're beefing with the people or not. 9 times out of 10, those beefs are fake too, because they're making millions of dollars. They know what's going on, but we're going to go fight. And we're still going to fight. But like, hey, you do this and I do this, we're good to go.
Yep. We
do this scripted reality sport, and you need to sell the matches to bring people there, because at the end of the day, people are still online. And if you do enough work, people will believe it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, they will.
People will believe what you're
doing. Even people who are in the business will believe it. Idiots. Anyway, all right, so that's the last question I have for you, and then if there's anything else you want to put out there, please do. Also,
I'll do an extra like 10, 15 because of my connection. Like, I'm having fun, man. Like, let's keep going.
Absolutely. And the chat, I know there's some people who have questions that I didn't get a chance to get to. So if there's a question I didn't ask, type it in again, and then also get your questions ready for that as well. But my last thing I want to bring up is we talked about the MITs, we talked about the Riley Crows. Who else is out there? That, and I don't want to say like a hit list, because I think you don't see it more as a hit list. You're about that competition. You're about testing yourself. But who do you want to work? But then part 2 to that question is not only who do you want to work, but who do you want to work that you feel will meet your level when it comes to that online presence and online promo battle? Because I don't think you've really had that person yet that has done tit for tat for you when it comes to doing that that online presence. Like, I think you, when it comes to it, like they always joke around, there's an A side of the fight and there's a B side of the fight, and you are always the A side when it comes to promoting and getting the name out there. So who are some people you want to work in the ring because they think you're going to get you on that level in the ring wise and put together a good match? And then who's someone that has the total package that you want to work because you think they would bring a character out of you or a story?
So I think about that a lot, and I never have a real answer because there's so many people I do want to work. So I'm going to keep it realistic, and I want to make it people who I could potentially work in like the next year, just based on the promotions that I'm around. I want to work Kit. I want to work with Kit. Kit was one of the first people I met at Backbreakers, and him and I are about the same age. We both spent time on the West Coast. We're a little similar in these ways, and I could see it when him and I are just very similar. And I think in ring, whatever him and I can do, it's going to make me 10 times better because I watch what he does, and I'm like, oh, I like that. Like, I have a very similar-ish thing I could potentially do with that. Okay, I think Kit would be the guy that I definitely would want to face before anyone else, just based on.
Crazy how you said we're around the same age, but Kit seems he's such a veteran in the area, and you know what I mean. Like,
I got into this very late and had a lot of obstacles, like I said, the pandemic and everything. So we're about the same age, and he's been doing it a while. Yeah. My biggest thing is like, I always wish I did this sooner. Like, I found wrestling sooner, but I'm glad I went through college, and I'm glad I met some of the people I did, because I was talking about how much of a bum-ass kid I was. All those people made me a better person, and if I would have came into the business too early, I would have been out of the business just as early because I wouldn't have had that mindset. So, yeah, we're the same age, isn't it? I think it blows people's minds sometimes when I tell them how old I am or if I'm older than them, and they're like, wait, what? I've only been in the business. I've only been working matches about 14 months, but like, it is what it is. If I got in this a little sooner, I probably wouldn't have been ready for any of this. And so I'm glad it worked out the way it did. You know, I said it before, I watch him, Tommy, Vex, and Mary. I like what they do because there's story involved. There's more than just the wrestling moves involved. They're very creative, and a lot, like I said, I've watched them at Smash shows because that's where I met them, was at the first Smash show. And I see what they do, and I study it. And I think if the three of us, maybe 3.5 of us, if there's a little man that wants to get involved somewhere, that wants to take out a bully, if we did something together, we'd have a lot of fun. So Tommy is someone who, Tommy and Mary, man, they're entertaining, and I think we could fucking do something awesome.
I just want to. I'm not pitching, but I'm pitching. But I think you and a little guy, because he's already been known to go to this guy's house and terrorize his house to get back at him. But imagine you and him taking a little ride and doing a little dog poop flaming bag on a front porch. Like, I'm just saying, I think that'd be really entertaining to watch online.
Tommy keeps picking on my boy. I might have no choice.
It's crazy. What we got here? Is there any part? So if you have any questions, please put them out there. Is there any place apart the Northeast PA scene that you would like to wrestle independent wise?
I don't really have an answer, honestly. I'm very, very happy with where I'm at right now. I'm sure at some point I'll get an offer from somewhere, or someone will try to get me to wrestle somewhere that I'd never even thought about, and I'll go do it. But I'm also not turning stuff down. I like to go places at least one time and figure it out and see what's going on. Even if I'm out working a match, I just want to go and see what the show's like. One I see a lot that I think I would like to kind of dip my toes in maybe is like Excite, because I got a lot of guys that I've worked with who are already at Excite. Like I see Squid commenting, and I was talking to Squid the other night about it, and he goes there, and maybe I work with Squid one day there. Who knows? Maybe I work one day there just in general. But Excite's one of those that I see a lot of, and I like to get up there because there's a few people up there I'd like to have a match with, or just even work with, like Trevor Terry, Tyler Reed. I'm miss people on this one, but like, not bring up all the names, but like, there's a lot of people up there who I think I could have a lot of fun wrestling with.
Yeah. Now here's a match that you were kind of talking about, and I don't know if it's ever happened, maybe at Backbreakers or at training. Have you ever crossed paths with the blue collar brawler Travis Dorian yet?
Yes. And you'll never see the footage, because we were going to do a thing at Backbreakers where we were going to film matches to go to our YouTube weekly, and the footage just never came out. But like my third or fourth match was against Travis. I would like to do something with Travis now because I've only just like grown so much since then. That was like February of last year. I was not even having matches for a month at the time. I had no idea what I was doing, really. I was just following direction, and I still do that, but now it'd be much different. I think
you and Travis would be a really fun first Friday fight at the Sanctuary.
Like I said, dog, I ain't turning anything down. I would like to. I mean, like I said, Travis is the guy who got me here, and that's something I just think that would make sense for the two of us to go in there and do it. Come to Australia, so you get your ass handed to. I am a Crocodile Dundee. I would go down there and have no problem, Scott.
And then there's this bum I hear trying to ride your coattails. Me and Ricky versus ABJ.
He's not riding my coattails. He's sitting fucking in the front seat with me, bitch. That's Crispy. That's
Ride
my dog.
your coattails.
We're bonding because we hate you.
Yeah, because of bum.
Give us what we need. Shut up, ABJ. I hate you. Let me and Crispy be. Me and Crispy had our.
When are you and Crispy tagging?
Me and Crispy tagging, bro. We'll do it. Listen. I would. You know what I want to do? You asked me people who I want to work with, and I don't really have. Again, like I'll work with whoever I get paired up with. I'm a scenario guy. I would like certain scenarios to happen. I would like to face every single member of the Honor Society, and I want to beat them all, and it's going to end with Andre Polino.
Okay. He's not a member of the Honor Society, but he's
for some reason, the five of them can't stay away from each other over there. So there's some deeper connection, I think. And
I actually want to see you and Andre in a match. I think that'd be a really.
I do too.
Match.
And Andre and I have talked about it. It'll happen. That's going to happen at some point.
You and Hawthorne, I think, would be a good match.
I've actually worked a triple threat match with him.
I'm saying a one-on-one. I think you and Hawthorne, but Hawthorne. So Hawthorne is special. Hawthorne's very, very good. You could put Hawthorne in any venue, and Hawthorne's going to be Hawthorne. But
he's a special performer, and that's
when Hawthorne's in the Sanctuary, he's Super Saiyan. You know what I mean? That's a different performance you're getting. That's a different Hawthorne. That's another beast you're experiencing as Hawthorne under the lights and under the roof of the Sanctuary. And I think that would be a fantastic fight.
Book it.
You heard it here, Angry Wrestling Vet. Get it done. Anything else, Ricky, that we didn't talk about that you want to get out there and talk like? Plug.
Let's talk about special matches that I've had.
All right.
My debut match against MJ Stacks was probably the most important one, just because it was the first one and the significance of it. But one I think that I can't believe I got to do, and it could be corny because like their names, but I got to do a tag match over the summer with it was me and Fandango, and we took on Chris Masters and Brawley over at ECPW. Brawley makes my gear, by the way. Hit up Brawley for gear. But we did a 3-day tour with Fandango and Masters with ECPW, and I hadn't even had 20 matches yet. And
your team of people you see on TV.
Yeah, dude. And like I grew up and I was pretty into the Chris Masters character. The physique, the presentation of it was just something that was like, it was cool and it attracted my eye. If you would have told me almost 20 years later that I'd be having my first, professional wrestling match with a name against that guy, I'd fucking think you're crazy. Never thought that'd be possible. And then I tagged with Fandango. And the funny part about that is his ringtone or his theme music was my ringtone for like 5 years. And I get to come out with him too. And I told him that beforehand. I'm like, dog, like, I don't mean to be a mark, but bro, like this shit was my ringtone for a long time. And now it's like coming full circle. And you know what happened during the entrance? I jumped up on the bleachers and it was raining that day and I slipped and I almost fell on my ass. I caught myself, but I still fell and Fandango laughed at me and it was a good moment.
What were you doing then?
I was obnoxiously doing it. But that match was really special because like that was the first match where they were just like, all right, let's go out there and do it. And I'm like, oh shit, like I feel like I'm not there yet. And I'm going in there with those guys and doing this. And it was a fun match. and they had good feedback, and I learned a lot from it. And Chris
Do
Masters,
you think that's the match for you that clicked, where you felt like I can do this, like because you were with somebody on a different level and you were able to call it in the ring and get it done?
that was the match where a lot of lights turned on, and I was like, okay, like it gave me the confidence because like it was a very simple match, but I still got to do it with guys who all have been doing it probably just as long as I've been like being able to walk. I don't know, like they've been doing it a long time, and I watched all these guys on TV when I was a kid, and I got to go share that experience with them. And then after the match, Chris Masters gave me a lot of like very helpful advice on body and physique, because that's the one thing, believe it or not, I struggle with, is trying to figure out, what the right look is. Body dysmorphia is very real. I'm not a big guy. I'm not a little guy, but I'm not the guy I want to be. And he gave me some very, very helpful advice that really helped.
Yeah, it's definitely a body industry, and it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, who better to give you body advice than the masterpiece himself, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That was an experience very, very thankful for.
Matt Holland says, did you get the master lock?
Master lock your chicken arms. No, he master locked these freaking bazookas. No master lock was done. No master lock was done.
Were you trying to petition to take it?
I would have so taken it. It's funny. If you go watch the matches on my YouTube, if you go watch it, the beginning of the match, I'm like in his face, like, come on, pal. And he's like behind Frank. Frank, the ref, actually refed it. And he's behind Frank, like, let me at him. And I'm like in his face, like my little ass, like flexing on him. It was fun, man. Another important match, the MIT match. I feel like that was a match where a lot of people started to really see what I could do on my own in singles action. And I've only gotten better since then. So when me and MIT inevitably run it back, I'm going to kick his stupid ass and kick his mustache right off his face.
It's a great mustache.
It's terrible. I could grow a better one in a week. I just choose not to.
There it is.
Yeah. Anyways, and then the tag match with Diamond City was special because the first show Stacks and I ever helped out at was the night Backbreakers had a tag team tournament
and they won the first ever titles.
Yep, and they won 3 matches that night, and they became the champions. And me and Stacks were there to be a tag team. We wanted to be a tag team, and we knew at some point, like, we're gonna have a match with these guys, and I can't wait for that day. Just because these guys went out there, and it was like a spectacle to us because we really hadn't been around independent wrestling shows at all, and that was one of the first shows we were at. So it was just special to see it, and then almost 2 or 3 years later for us to all share that moment and have the match that we did.
There's right now there's a little bit of a hurting when it comes to the tag team division at the Sanctuary. Just saying, if Stacks can come out on a Sunday, that would
try to get him up there, man. But like I said, he's a hard guy to get.
Yeah, tough.
It'll happen.
He's like a cicada. He only comes out every so often. Who else is on the scene? If you were to recommend somebody, be like, hey, keep your eye on this person. What they're trying to do out there. Good person behind the scenes in the locker room. Who's a name you'd put out there?
See, I could name a lot of people. I really could. There's a handful of guys, group load of guys at ECPW I work with that you should look at. I'm only naming these guys specifically because they're the guys I do the most with. Love is Pain, Captain Pain and Love Jones. Love them.
Love Jones is great.
We got a big tag team match against those two at the end of the month. Me and Stacks are making our tag team debut in ECPW in our hometown against those two for the ECPW Hudson's Valley tag titles. I can't wait. I've had the opportunity to work with them a couple times, and it's always been really fun. I worked my first street fight against them this past September, and that was a blast. Like, if you get a chance to go look that up, go look it up because it was so much fun. You can look it up on ECPW Fully Charged YouTube channel or my channel without the commentary. It was a fucking awesome match. Beautiful Buddy Thomas, he's another kid. Tamir Gibbs, he's another one. Drew Marson, he's another one. Oh my God, Blocks. I could sit here and name so many people from that company, but those are just the guys I spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Any one of those guys, book them. They have a guy over there. You asked me before, someone who would do the promo to promo thing with me that I think would have a lot of fun with. If you get the chance, look him up. His name is Dr. Leroy Venkman. He's pretty new, just like me, but he does this character where he's a mad scientist, and his promos never fucking miss. Never. And I can't describe them to you because they're just unique.
Did you ever see the guy in the scene right now, Hamlet?
No, I haven't.
He's essentially Buffalo Bill, and he has like chained up prisoners, and he's telling them to put the lotion in on the skin or against the hose again, and he's combing his hair, and it's unbelievable.
Goodbye, hose. I get you.
He's good. He's good. All right. Well, everyone, this is your last chance. If not, Hunter's going to close it out with this last question of the podcast. If you could write a letter to a younger Ricky Pryce, what would it say?
Be patient. Be patient, because you never know when life is going to drop an absolute golden opportunity or give you that thing you've been looking for. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know who's watching.
Yes. It could happen at any moment. For me, when one of the hardest things I struggled with was when Backbreakers was closed, because I wanted to do this so bad. I just wanted to have one fucking match so bad that all these obstacles just got in the way and everything was making it impossible. I never thought it was going to happen. And when the pandemic happened, all I did was work out and study. And I had other veterans like Mike Mitchell sending me videos to watch, and he's like, study this, watch this. And I kept myself ready, and I kept myself like in the mindset, like this place could open up again tomorrow and I'll be fucking ready for it. And I waited.
You admit Mike Mitchell would have been a good match too.
You know what? If I'm going to add one more match to my list, it would be him.
I'm a big Mike Mitchell fan. Like you did square off. No,
in a tag match. No, in a
tag.
In
a tag match. In that tag match, yeah, you guys did square off, but that one-on-one would have been awesome. I like Mitchell a lot. He's one of the people I watch, and I'm just like, man, he's on a different level than most of the people around him.
He'll probably hate that I'm saying this, but like, he was one of the guys that he's like, come here, kid. Let me give you some advice and show you some things. When I was very, very young, him, Johnny Moran, Travis, John Redbeard, we'd get together on Thursdays down at Backbreakers.
How did that just slip through our fingertips? You want to talk about someone to go promo for promo and video for video with? You versus Eric Redbeard is the meal ticket.
Eric Redbeard.
Or John Redbeard, not Eric Redbeard. John Redbeard. I don't know why I did that. I literally had a brain fart. What? Yeah, John, dude, he's the king of viral videos.
Don't get him started. All right.
The guy's been on Tosh.0 twice.
He fell flat on his face on a treadmill. And yeah, okay. I love him to death, though. I would love something with him at some point. He's genuinely a good friend of mine. I talk to him a lot. I just saw him last week. He's going to be on that hometown show that we're doing at the end of the month. He doesn't work a lot, but when he does, it's something different. And
I'd have to for you. You should talk to him. You should start something up. Just like give me a month or two, and just let's do stuff online and have fun with this.
He would be down.
Yeah. We were talking about people earlier in the scene that you just think are good people, and I'm gonna throw one out there. And I actually was gonna legit say his name, but then he said something in the chat that's really funny, so I'm gonna put him out there. But like, the more I hang out with Donnie, man, he's a good kid. I like him a lot. I'm a Donnie guy. But then Donnie also then just won me over even more with this. When are you going to admit that ABJ is the best? Now's your chance. Let's close this podcast out. I mean, you already said you enjoy the ABJ podcast. You enjoy everything I do. Can you just admit that I'm just like the top of the echelon? Like, I'm just that guy. No? All right.
No. Donnie, I like Donnie, though. Listen, me and Donnie, we only get into it because the little toothpick, Nathaniel Cunningham. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like Donnie's got team of player potential.
Ooh.
Yeah. The TOP. We're a team of players, dog. Like, we're not. You think it's just gonna be me and Stacks? Like, there's other pieces that might,
Did you mention Donnie and Stacks tagging up?
Meat houses.
Jesus, it'd be like Earthquake and Typhoon. They were just big, huge monsters that were like super athletic for their size.
Those two would be like the most obnoxious Italian mafia soprano.
Oh my
tag
god.
team.
This would be their song. Donnie and Stax would come out and they would come out to I'm Not a Player, I Just Crush a Lot.
Jeez Louise.
The Incubus version though. Yeah. Bro, you just got kicked out of your own team. It's Donnie and now you and Nathaniel are gonna team up, and then Donnie and Stax are a new team.
No. Listen, I just kicked Nathaniel's ass. That's all there is to it.
Okay. All right. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Ricky Pryce. I don't know. I feel a little better about you. You know, I feel like in the scene, I feel like on the scene, I think we will be a little more cohesive, and we're not going to be ruining shows and you know what I mean? Because it's tough. We're menaces. People got, you know, they have to make sure one of us get there before the other one, and you have to be on one side and I have to be the other. Maybe we can fix that a little bit so we're not just a distraction to these Northeast wrestling scene shows. Maybe we'll see how it plays out.
I think you should shut your mouth.
I think you shut your mouth. I get paid to talk. I'm a commentator.
My Wi-Fi tried to make that happen a couple times, and I kept coming back. So good luck with that, pal.
Yeah,
you can kick me right in the schnoz in front of 120, 200, 300 people, and I'm gonna get up and I don't give a shit. I'm a honey badger. I don't give a shit. I'll get in there and I'll bite your head off.
Ricky has no class and he can't recognize the ABJ quality, and I still think he's a jerk. That's what Scott says. Millie says, "Call a truce, damn it." Not yet. I don't think so.
Scott needs to shut up.
Yeah, I agree with Scott. I think you should recognize that ABJ is top quality.
Yeah, top quality toilet paper, maybe.
Wow. There was some of my hair on that swirly. That was gross.
That's how I know you're top quality toilet paper, pal.
Nasty. Where can people find you on social media or buy? I don't know why they would buy any Ricky Pryce shirts. I think anyone who would wear a Ricky Pryce shirt is an idiot, just a stupid idiot.
Yeah, absolute jackass. Everything I have, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube is at the Ricky Pryce. Facebook, just Ricky Pryce. And Pro Wrestling Tees, you just got to look up Ricky Pryce. Price with a Y. And
you're sponsored. You have a sponsored website.
I do. I'm sponsored by fansidea.com. I'm surprised we didn't talk about that more. I'm sponsored by fansidea.com. They make custom jerseys, custom jackets, custom shorts. They got so many custom things you can do.
And it's very affordable.
Very affordable.
And the quality's good.
I could not believe how affordable it was the first time I bought a jersey. And then what happened was I bought the first jersey, and then I bought a second jersey, and I was posting pictures and posting my content, and I was getting myself out there, and I tagged them, and they saw that, and they asked me to become an affiliate. And every now and again, we'll collab, and they'll hook me up with new stuff. I got a code. I honestly never thought I never thought the Pryce One code thing would work. It was going to be a gimmick. It was going to be annoying. It was going to be again, I told you, Jake Paul is someone who I watched a lot of, and I take a lot of what he did on YouTube and I apply it to what I'm doing on my content. And the Pryce One thing, that's what that was supposed to be. And it fucking works for some reason. People use it. I don't understand it. But it's cool. They hooked me up with some cool shit, and I've built a really good partnership with them.
Yeah. I went and looked, and a hockey jersey. And like I said, the quality is good. The hockey jersey is $45, and then
you can put your logo on it.
If you want to put your logo on, I think total that it comes out to at the end of the day is $60, and it's a custom jersey with your name, and you could pick your own colors, and
you get 10% off when you use the code Pryce1 at checkout.
Yeah, it's a good website.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yep. So definitely hit it up. People in the chat. I don't know why they keep saying the price is wrong. The price is wrong. Price is wrong.
These are all your little Discord minions. I don't.
That would be a catchy shirt though, if you think about it. The price is wrong shirt.
Why would I wear that? Why would I?
I mean, it would look
that.
It would look cool. I mean, look at that. That's a dope shirt.
Actually, I want to be realistic.
Maybe this is people are wrong about you. You know what I mean? And that would be just
don't gas. I think you're trying to gaslight me. Don't gaslight me. the thing about the Price is right and the Price is wrong. That's the one thing I kind of want to avoid. I feel like it's too easy. Like for like a logo or like a slogan or anything, it's just too easy. I don't want that. The Price is right. If people want to chant it, they've done it. Fine. No merchandise like that.
Okay.
Too easy.
I once asked Ricky Pryce for an autograph, and he spit in my face and called me a mark.
I absolutely did that.
Yeah. I mean, look at that guy. I would have spit in his face too.
I think he tried to take a picture of me too. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we don't do pictures. Get out of here, stupid Mark. Yeah. Anyway.
Any other brain busters?
No, I think that'll do it. Everyone, thank you for joining the chat. I hope this lit up to the hype. Once again, this is unacceptable. No more, none of that ever again.
What's special is you saved it. You could have threw that out in the last 2 days, but you saved it.
I found it today. I went through my bag. I was trying to go and figure things out and get stuff out of my bag, and there it was. And I was like, well, there was only one person that did that, and it was just right before the podcast. But if you are listening back, make sure you check the links below for all things Ricky Pryce, all things ABJ. Tons and tons of new merchandise coming. I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. Some of the stuff that was made recently for me blows my face off. It's really good stuff. A lot of cool let's just say like spoof logo inspired stuff is on there coming. Some old school wrestling logos and stuff. There's a lot coming. Very happy with it. I hope you guys all enjoy. Just here's a small taste of it that's getting uploaded. There's gonna be a Simpsons one, a little Bob's Burgers, some WCW, maybe every era of the Attitude Era is coming. There's a ton of cool stuff coming. So definitely check out the links. I'm not one to beg, but your boy can use the help right now. Support our sponsor, SVW. You can go to their website and order some good, cool t-shirts. I'll be rocking them very soon. It's Elevation 1470. That should do it for the ABJ podcast. We will be back tomorrow with episode 53 with Rembrandt, and then we'll be back again on Tuesday with the dude. So the month of May, man, I know this is a bold statement. I know this is probably it's going to be hard to do. We're very close to 700 subscribers. I'm literally going to put out 18 episodes in the month of May. I'm not working. I'm not doing anything. So if I'm at home, I'm going to grind and I'm going to make this a thing. So the month of May, I want to get close to that 1K or possibly hit it. I want to try to do it in 1 month. I think I'm putting 18 episodes out. 18 people bring another 10, 20 people to subscribe. I'm going to do it. This is the month. May's going to blow it up for me. Oh, is this the pup? This is Pricey pup here. This is the doggo. That's
it's Gooby doggo. Pryce.
Gooby Pryce. Is that a border collie?
No, it's a Brittany Spaniel.
Oh, Spaniel. Yeah. I had a cocker spaniel when I was a kid.
She's my hunting dog. Well, she's not my hunting dog. She's my dad's hunting dog, but she hunts birds. So if Riley Crow, you want to screw around, maybe I'll have someone ringside with me this Saturday night at the first Saturday Night Smash show.
There it is. All right, everybody, that'll do it. Here's some music by Billy Trey. We will see you on Monday. Goodbye. See you, doggo. That's the coolest thing. That's the coolest part about you right there. That's the coolest Pryce is Doggo Pryce.
He's so cute. I love her.
Yeah, he's a good dog. All right, we'll see you next time. She is great. We're out of here.